Okay, here's just a few suggestions that I think should be in the next software release of the BYD Atto3. Now I must say, I think version 1.7 did a good job of making some tweaks, but I think there's a few additional ones that need to be made. The first is driving mode. Now driving mode essentially gives you one of three options: eco, normal or sport, and it adjusts the throttle control and how quickly power is delivered to the wheels. Eco gives you a very smooth takeoff, thus saving power. Sport delivers power a little bit quicker, giving you a more dynamic experience. I think there's room to go one higher, and above sport, I would love to see one called Max. Max would deliver power almost immediately to the wheels, okay? Immediate throttle response, very little or no traction control, and all that power straight to the wheels. Now, the wheels might spin, they might scream, doesn't matter. That's what Max would be for, just delivers straight to the wheels. It wouldn't be the mode that you use to drive every day, but it allows you to test the vehicle out. You might want to even do a track day in the vehicle, or maybe just show off the capabilities to some friends. I think it would be really great just to have that option of Max there. The other one is regen. At the moment, we've got two modes. We've got standard and we've got high. There's been a little bit of criticism that standard is a little bit too low for most, and high is a little bit too high for most. Yet at the same time, there's some out there that want the 1 foot driving mode, which would indicate that even high is not enough. So I would suggest to BYD that we make two changes. Firstly, we keep standard and high exactly as they are, because we don't want to change what someone's used to. I would suggest inserting another mode between these called moderate. And it would be exactly that. It would be an in-between between standard and high, just a little bit more than standard, but less than high. There's a lot of scenarios when I'm driving when I would like just a tiny bit more regen, but I don't want to switch up to high because it slows the vehicles in almost all circumstances. So a moderate setting would be really handy. The other one is adding a full setting, full regen above high, and that would be the maximum that the vehicle can handle of regen at all times. And that will probably give us as close as we can to the 1 foot driving mode, whereas you take your foot off the throttle and the vehicle slows down as quickly as it can. I think adding those two modes would be really helpful and really improve the image of BYD. Moving across now to the infotainment system, there's a few changes that I would like to see added. It's already amazing, but I think there's a few tweaks. One is when you're in Android Auto mode, there's no ability to change it to portrait mode. It says that rotation's not supported. Now, I know for a fact that Android Auto can support portrait mode. I've seen it in Renault and a number of other vehicles. So I would love to see BYD just add the ability to rotate the screen when it's in Android Auto. The other thing I would love to see added is, at the moment, when you go from, say, driving in daylight to driving in a tunnel, the screen dims to night mode. Okay, and there's settings where we can adjust what this looks like under display. A few little tweaks. One is that even 100% is sometimes not quite bright enough for me. Okay, I would love to see the 100% mode be just a little bit brighter than it is. Not too much, but I want to sort of have like 120% available to me. The other thing is, if I drive under a bridge, you know, a short bridge, it's just a flash in the pan, goes from light to dark, back to light again. Often what happens is the screen goes into night mode here, and it goes very dark. I'm in a car park at the moment. The screen's quite visual. It's easier to see, but if I just go under a bridge and there's a lot of ambient light still around, I can't see my maps anymore. It's very hard to see. So, solution to that, BYD. When this screen goes into night mode, don't just go straight to dark mode and back to daylight mode. Give it a 5-second fade. I would love to see if there's the ability for it to fade to its night mode over about 5 seconds. And then you want it to snap back within about 1 second back to day mode when you come back out to the daylight. That way, when you go under a bridge, the screen is still well illuminated and starts to fade over, say, 5 or 10 seconds. When you come back to daylight, it comes back up again. Okay, if you do go into a tunnel, it's going to fade to night mode over 5 or 10 seconds and then remain in that night mode as your eyes adjust. All right, one more thing on the infotainment system too. At the moment, if you're playing music and you click the volume control, it says audio muted, and it actually mutes the whole system audio. I would love to see that feature changed so that when you click the button, it pauses the active music. And if you click and hold the button, it then mutes the whole system audio. Most other cars will just pause the music when you click a button like that, but BYD is a bit different and it mutes. And I don't like that because it means the song keeps playing in the background. And sometimes I don't realize that that's the case and I wonder where all my system sounds have gone. It's because it's been muted. So I would love to see the next software release adjust that so that clicking the volume button simply pauses the active track, enables me to still get map notifications and warnings and things like that. But sure, allow me to click and hold it for say 1 second to mute the whole system to still have that functionality. And just a tweak on the cruise control, I would love to see too. As we know, clicking up and down on your cruise control adjust in 5 kilometer increments. So 1 click, 5 kilometer increments each time. I would love to see if you just hold it just for half a second for it to go up in 1 kilometer increments. I think that's an easy fix and something that BYD could quite easily do in a software update. So click for 5, click and hold for half a second for 1. And just one other little tweak I would love to see made. It might sound strange, but it's the indicator sound. Not so much the sound, but in a car that is so quiet, when I'm sitting there at the lights, the indicator noise is actually quite loud. I would love to see a dynamic mode added to the sound for indicators, where based on my speed, the loudness of the indicator changes. I would love it when I'm not going anywhere, when I'm just sitting at the lights, for this sound to be about half of what it is right now. Not to disturb the quiet of this beautiful quiet car. As I speed up, sure, make it a little bit louder so if I've left it on and I'm driving, I can hear it. But I think for now, a quick change that BYD could make is just enable me to soften the sound. If I cover the speaker, that's a lot better, and that's actually what I want. So I would love to see that change brought in a future software release. And the final thing for now is the driving recorder. Okay, it's really great that we've got a built-in driving recorder, and its feature set is pretty good. Not the best quality, but it's fine. You know, to have a built-in one, it's great. I would love to see a rear camera added. Now we know that we can have a half decent rear camera footage, okay? I know it's for reversing, it's mostly pointed at the ground, but that is still better than nothing. I would love it if the recording camera could record simultaneously front and rear. And it just means in the event of an accident, someone runs up behind me, we actually capture some really decent footage of the rear camera using this camera here. If BYD could add that, that would make it so much more useful. So anyway, these are just a few suggestions for the next software release. I want to commend BYD again for listening to their customers and making some changes already. And I would just love to see a few of these tweaks brought in future releases. So thank you. If you have any comments, we'd love to hear them. But hopefully in the future, we'll see some of these changes to what is already an amazing car.